Hi, this is Mark Bunker from XENU TV, and those of you who are longtime viewers of my website know that Mary-DeMoss is one of the most beloved characters on the site. And I do believe that she is like a character. Suddenly a cast of lovable eccentrics started to surround me as though they were the wacky next door neighbor at a sitcom when I started to shoot Scientology. And it was pretty amazing to see. People like Dan Murnan and Mary-DeMoss became regular fixtures. And I think people developed a fondness for them in some way. I know I did. Mary-DeMoss was many times insulted on alt-religion Scientology because of her behavior. Not by me. I loved Mary. When I would see Mary-DeMoss walking down the street, my heart would sing. I'd smile, because I knew Mary-DeMoss would bring it. She'd bring her A game and she'd defend her religion. And she was doing what she felt was right. And I admired that. She was a fierce opponent, and she always, as I said, fought for what she believed in. And I like to think that's what I'm doing too. I'm fighting for what I believe in, and I try to back up my beliefs with documentation and evidence to support that. And I think I'm right, and Mary and many of the other Scientologists I've met are wrong in some respects. But that doesn't make them my enemy. And as nasty as Mary would get, and she would do a lot of personal insults, I never held it against her. Because, again, it wasn't her. It was Scientology that had trained her how to bullbait and told her that I was a criminal and an enemy, and she was doing what she thought was right. Well, I'm hearing now that Mary-DeMoss blew Scientology. If the reports are true, a few months back, Mary-DeMoss left and didn't leave under the appropriate terms in Scientology's, understanding of it. They want people to route out. They have to jump through hoops sometimes for up to 5 or 6 months of trying to be in the good graces as you leave Scientology. And that of course, just gives Scientology time to work you over and convince you to stay. So when somebody leaves without routing out, that's called blowing, and it can be a high crime. I mean, that can lead to disconnection and being declared an SP. From my understanding of it, and again, this is all secondhand information, Mary was under an incredible amount of pressure from OSA and from David Miscavige, and they were really being hard on her, and she couldn't take it anymore. And if that's the case, I feel sorry for her. I understand what that's like. People have been going through that a lot lately with Scientology. I mean, Mike Rinder blew. I mean, who would have thought Mike Rinder would blow? There's a lot of chaos inside Scientology right now, apparently. And I don't know why, because, things are going so great for him. I don't know why David Miscavige would be so upset. But at any rate, I do feel sorry for Mary. I always liked Mary. I asked Mary out to dinner for a few times, and she always said no. But that didn't stop me from trying. Mary and I share a theatrical background. She ran a children's theater company, and I've done lots and lots of stage work, and some film and TV as well. When I was living in Clearwater around Mary, I always thought, how wonderful would it be if we could do a play together? That would just be fun. I haven't seen her act, but I would imagine from the passion that she brought to the streets of Clearwater that she's probably a pretty damn good actress. And I still think it would be fun someday to do a show with her, and I hope that will happen sometime. Again, it's not Mary's fault, what she was saying to me. And I haven't put any of the clips of Mary up on YouTube, but I know others have. The favorite is the Mary-DeMoss-Go-Round, where she started circling me. And in the middle of doing a roundabout thing with Mary, I thought, wouldn't it be good to put calliope music behind this. So I went back to the LMT, and sure enough, that worked out nicely. And that wasn't meant to denigrate Mary. It was to show the insanity of Scientology's behavior. Not Mary's behavior specifically, but just the way they're told to attack. What are your crimes? So I hope that Mary, didn't hold that against me, although I can't see how she wouldn't. But I always did have a fondness for Mary, and I hope now that she's got a strong support system to help her, because as we've seen so often from so many people, you lose all your family and your friends, and hopefully there's someone on the outside that she is able to turn to now, if what we're hearing is true. And I want to tell you, there was somebody, when I was at the LMT, at the same time I was dealing with Mary on the street, Warner Brothers released Battlefield Earth, that epic movie that ranks right up there with The Prophet as far as quality. And I would go on the Warner Brothers message board for Battlefield Earth, and oh my God, I was addicted to it. I could not get off the Battlefield Earth board. It was so much fun because it was obvious that there were just a handful of Scientologists there trying to say how wonderful the movie is. And there was one person, I think the nick was Get Real 101. I didn't know who it was, but it was a Scientologist, obviously. And they would be saying things like, "Can you believe how wonderful the film is? I just saw it for the 3rd time and I'm going back tonight." Right. And I had great fun then exposing a lot of the lies that were going on. Before the film was released, I got a copy of the first draft movie script for Battlefield Earth. And man, I knew it was a stinker before it hit the theaters. So I wrote a review of the movie and put it on the web. Shortly thereafter, another mysterious script review popped up which raved about it. And the writer of this article just couldn't talk enough about how brilliant this movie was, or how it was going to be. So I did a little Google search and discovered that the guy who wrote that rave review was not only the winner of an L. Ron Hubbard Science Fiction Award, but also on his biography on the web, it said he was currently being paid by the Church of Scientology to do PR for Battlefield Earth. So I would run onto the message board and put the link there to that, and just watch with glee as the Scientologists would get upset. And as I said, this Get Real 101, oh boy, she hated me. And because my nick was XENU TV, she'd always say, "Fat TV. What do you know, Fat TV?" And she was really nasty. I didn't hold it against her. She was, fighting for what she believed. She didn't want anyone to hear XENU. So I found out later that the person on the Battlefield Earth board was Tory Christman before she left Scientology. And we had met. And we had had nice interactions on the street in L.A. And I liked her. So when she blew and called the LMT for help, and I was told there was someone on the phone who wanted to talk to me, and I heard her voice, I went, "You? I love you. How could you say all those horrible things about me?" But it wasn't Tory, it was Scientology. And that's, again, I hate to belabor this, but that's the same way with Mary. I hope Mary is doing great. The invitation is still there for dinner anytime. I'd love to be able to talk to you, and I understand if you don't want to talk to me. I do understand that, but I just want you to know that I'm thinking of you, and I hope you're okay. And let's do a play together someday. Until then, you'll find me at XENU TV.